Greetings, and we're back with Mr. Jones, our resident fool, who continues not to understand how an internal combustion engine works. It is amazing to think that here we are in the 21st century. People still don't understand how a simple internal combustion engine works. In the approximate 160 years since the first internal combustion engine was proven to work, people still don't get it. Basically, an internal combustion engine is a heat energy in which the combustion of a fuel occurs with an oxidizer, usually air, in a combustion chamber. This resulting combustion produces a rapid expansion of high temperature and high pressure gases, which applies a direct force to some component of the engine. As in a car engine, it would be the piston. In a jet engine, it would be the turbine blades. This force moves that component over a distance, transforming the chemical engine energy into the useful work. The term internal combustion engine is usually associated with the typical car engine, which is of the intermittent combustion type, which means that the combustion only happens on one of the strokes. There is a secondary type of combustion engine, which is the continuous combustion, where combustion is a continual flow of hot gas, as you would find in a jet engine. Internal combustion engines are usually powered by energy-dense fuels derived from fossil fuels, such as petroleum, jet A, natural gas, diesel. Well, Mr. Jones here doesn't believe any of that. He insists these engines are fuelless. Basically, he wants to rewrite the laws of physics, and particularly the second law of thermodynamics, which clearly shows and states that a perpetual motion engine cannot exist, because no heat energy engine can be 100% efficient, because there will always be losses. But that doesn't stop Mr. Jones pushing his nonsense without any proof, and now he is picking on farmers. Apparently farmers are the new big evil, as they are hiding the secrets of this free energy nonsense that he wants to push, because he thinks he hasn't seen a petrol tank. Well, let's have a look and let's listen to what he has to say for himself, shall we?
This is from the this thing here, which I thought was the bloody fuel tank on the top. It's just a case, literally just a bit of case that goes over it. The engine's down here. This is the front section here. Now, this is where this guy's got this massive fuel tank, right? And I'm going to tell you why it's got to have to be massive, yeah? Now, I asked the farmer, he pulled up, and I says to him, so where's your fuel tank? Oh, he goes, oh, it's in the front radiator section here. And I went, oh, okay, right. So then he wandered off, but I'll keep playing this, right? And again, hopefully a bit better. There, you see, completely hollow. There's nothing underneath that. Yeah, no fuel tank where you'd think there would be a fuel tank, yeah? The front section where I'm going to show you in a second, right, he says, right, coming up any minute. Right here, look, it's only bloody hollow. you could see right through to the other side, all the way across, because it's hard to see with the thing, but there's no fuel tank in this behind here, which I'll show you in a second. Play a bit more. You seeing this? I go up and down. And now you can see it.
I think you're being a bit deceitful there, or dishonest, Mr. Jones, because it was clear you were only looking through this area here. You were not looking here where the fuel tank is. I think you're being a bit deceitful there, Mr. Jones.
Wiggle it, yeah? And obviously there's the radiator. Well, you'd want air to go in here. You want air to go in there to cool down the engine and one thing, yeah? So this geezer's got this thing. And mock-up tank, just like the helicopter guys. Now, he's got his own channel where he's doing stuff, yeah? I might even leave a link to it, but look. Right, and the reason he's got these mock-ups is, I'm going to go about here. This is the tractor itself, right? John Deere, blah, blah, blah. Fuel, gallons, 121 litres, right? That is a giant wheelie bin, a massive giant wheelie bin that you put your rubbish in. So clearly there'd have to be room at the front. So this is a screenshot of mine here. It'd be massive. Now this bit was tiny as I walked past.
Oh, look at that, Mr. Jones. What's the size of a 120-litre British bin? It's not even a metre high. It's not even 50 centimetres wide. It's not that big, is it? So I think that tank, that area on that tractor, looks quite acceptable for 120 litres. You didn't measure it. You didn't film you getting a tape measure out and verifying it. You're being dishonest and you've got no idea, have you, Mr. Jones? And just in case you've got any other ideas, there's a water butt, 120 litres. Again, it's not a metre high and it's only half a metre wide. Easily fit in that tractor, won't it? You are trying to pull a fast one. Well, let's have a look at this gentleman. He seems to know what he's talking about. He's working on a John Deere. And look at that great big green fuel tank he's about to pull out of the front of this tractor. Oh, that looks like the size of a small 120-litre water butt or wheelie bin, doesn't it, Mr. Jones? Yes, look. It will fit in that little hole, won't it, Mr. Jones? That's quite the size of a small 120-litre wheelie bin or water butt. Well, proof there, Mr. Jones. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, if that wasn't clear enough for you, Mr. Jones, I'm sure this will make it crystal clear. Even Stevie Wonder could see that a fuel tank will fit and its capacity will be about 120 litres as stated in the John Deere manual. So once again, Mr. Jones, your little pathetic little fantasy has been squashed. Of course, a tractor needs fuel. Just like aeroplanes need fuel, and helicopters, and every other form of vehicle that requires an internal combustion engine, or any machinery that requires to be driven by an internal combustion engine, will require fuel. Oh look, what's that at the front of that tractor? It looks like a tank. And there it is again. Easily 120 litres. That. Oh, look at the size of that tank, eh? Another 120 litre. Oh, another 120 litre. Oh, Mr. Jones. I think this is destroying your whole attack on farmers. What's that, Mr. Jones? I hear you cry. You're an expert. You know volumes and that because you've been trained in that in your and everybody else is wrong. Oh, really, Mr. Jones?
And then I know from my plumbing background the volume and size of litres, 210 litre and vent cylinders and 33618s and all these sort of things. I wouldn't be looking at it going, well, where's your giant fucking tank, dickhead? And that's why I looked at all of this stuff from a fluid water background. Because you're not qualified. You're not a qualified tractor mechanic. I'm qualified in volume, you prick.
Well, Mr. Jones, you clearly are not an expert in volume, as we've just seen. So, really, Mr. Jones, best give up this dead horse you're trying to flog and stop pushing the lies and the deceit and the misinformation. Just to be honest with the world for once, Mr. Jones,